Hey there, Memory Keepers. This is Sherry Roth. I'm Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada. And I am here to share how I am going to create mini kits out of my Scrap Your Stash kit. So I have a Scrap Your Stash class coming up. This is the 4th round of this class that I'm doing. I will link to where you can find all the information in the description below. It's coming up on March 31st and April 1st. So it's over the course of 2 days, but there is bonus content before and afterwards. And I'll be sharing anything that I create up until the end of April. So in the initial video, I shared tips on how I pull out my Scrap Your Stash kit. So I've got a bunch of paper, some stickers, some embellishments, some alphabet stickers, some die cuts that I had left over, just all sorts of things. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create mini kits that will help me save time as I go through and design the layouts for this class. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up and I will talk you through it. Okay, so I'm going to start by pulling out my first grouping of photos, and this one was actually really quite easy. I decided that I had these stickers that were very kind of earthy, lots of nature and things, and they worked perfectly with that little collection of DSP. So that one was really, really easy. I'm going to keep it in the pocket pages, so there's more than enough supplies there to work with. And then I set that aside. Then I'm going to grab another photo and kind of have that in place. I've kind of fanned out all my DSP so I can kind of see it all together. So as much as I can, I try to use DSP as my background pieces when I do this because the whole point is to use stuff up. So I grabbed, I think this is a grid pattern paper. It's just got a subtle grid pattern. And then there was that diagonal stripe that had some red and some black. And I think it's crushed curry that's in there. So I grabbed a sheet of that crushed curry 6x6. There's also some pool party in that DSP. And then I remembered in my little stash, I had a library card that had a little bit of red on it. So I pulled that out and set it aside. All right, next grouping of photos. Here we've got lots of grays and blacks with a little bit of green. So I remembered that I had these 2 gray pieces. And then I thought, well, maybe this green would work nicely in there. He's got some green on his hat. So I could pop that in there. And then I thought, oh, this printed paper might look good. It's got words all over it. It could be used for matting photos. I had this grid, another grid pattern with it was a yellow grid. Now I'm looking at these cut aparts just to see if anything jumps out at me. And there might be some in here that I end up using, but I decided not to cut them apart. You saw me point at that label. That label would work really well. But I decided not to cut it apart now. I will cut it apart when I go to scrapbook these photos. I'm just having another quick look through. And again, same with the stickers. I decided not to separate the stickers. I'll wait and separate those when I'm ready to actually put the layout together. All right, so here, there's blue. My son's wearing a blue shirt, and there's some coral in this, which works well with the red. So I'm kind of going with coral because I didn't pull out a whole lot of papers with red in it. So I'm going to make do with some coral. And you can see that I'm starting with the DSP. I just basically repeat the same process. And I'm working with the DSP first, and then I will go and work with my embellishments. A lot of the embellishments I'll pull out when I go to finish the layout or put the layout together. But some of the things that kind of jump out, I will include. So here, again, because I didn't have any red, I chose to go with grays because the blues don't really work. And I'll probably add in some red cardstock and maybe do whatever I decide to stamp with. If I decide to do some stamping, I'll incorporate some red as well. All right, so these photos, you can kind of see them off to the side. They have a little bit more of a turquoise. They've got turquoise and again red. This is going to be a great background piece for these photos, but there wasn't a whole lot more that I liked. I tried this one and I didn't love it. And perhaps when I go to do the layout, I might pull in a little bit of that. Maybe it was just because I was using the whole sheet and put it against it. Like these three work really well together, but I'm not sure I want to include that much pink. So I'm having a look through. I thought maybe the hearts, but no, not quite the right layout for the hearts. So I think I just keep the turquoise out of this one. I think I put some of the other ones back. Yeah. So I kept this one really small, but remember that doesn't mean, you can see here I'm pointing out those red label shapes. Those will be great embellishments. That doesn't mean that there's not enough to work with there, because once we add our cardstock, we pick our stamps that we're going to choose, and we stamp our embellishments, we can fill it in. All right, so here I've got some Sparks photos. So this is probably where I'll pull in some of that purple, and probably some of the blue. So I thought these three would be really great, but I'm not sold on the splatter one. It doesn't really have the right feel, and this one would be a great one as well. I can't actually remember what I ended up going with. I loved this one because it had so many colors in it. And then I've got some of that Fresh Freesia glimmer paper, fine shimmer paper. I decided to pull those ones out. Didn't love those ones. I will likely, oh, here we go. Yeah, so I needed a lighter color in there. So I pulled in that white with all those, I think they've got little flowers, or is it polka dots? It's hard to see on the video. And I really want to work with this collection, but they don't work with it doesn't work with any of the photos that I've chosen. So maybe I will grab some other photos, maybe some wedding photos that might work, so that I can use that floral collection. All right, so here I'm going through this title thickers pack that I have, and here, this is where I will separate. So I decided to put Sweet Fun, use that as my title. And what I love about these white thickers is you can color them with Stampin' Blends, which is so fun. So if I decide I don't want them white, I color them in. So I'm having a look at the other alphabet sets that I have in here because I love to combine fonts. Maybe I want to include the word Sparks on the layout somewhere because they are photos from Sparks. So I'm just having a look at what I've got. And I had all the letters to spell Sparks on there. And again, these are white stickers. These are quite old, but again, I love them because I can stamp over top of them, or I can color them in and customize them to make them work for my layout. Now I'm going through the embellishments just to see what I have, if anything jumps out at me. Again, I will go through this package or this little bin when I'm ready to put my layout together. I'm just pulling out the things that really jump out at me, and I'm going to go back through all of these mini kits that I've put together and basically do the same thing. I think I went and grabbed a piece of red cardstock just to tuck it in there, just give it a little bit more color. There are some labels in here that work quite nicely. The heart is a different color red. I apologize, I'm kind of out of the camera there, but those label shapes, if you've got stickers that you want to include, if you've got a specific sticker, a great way to include that is just grab a piece of wax paper, stick them on the sticker, or on the wax, stick your sticker on the wax paper, and then you can include it in your kit, and it will just peel off nicely. All right, next up, having a look through, see if any of these titles work. Didn't really want to go with anything that's gold. Now I'm having a look at these word phrases to see, because Pool Party is kind of the color, one of the colors that I'm using, just to see if any of those phrases will work. And they don't really And then I have these alphabet stickers that I would love to just kind of use up if I can. So I pulled those out again because one of them has Pool Party and they're similar fonts, so I could combine alphabets from different sets to make words. And then I pulled out those black ones as well. Pulled out that red heart. So I've got some little wood elements in here. There's some cork elements. There's lots of little bits and pieces. All right, here I'm going to cut out the word I think, do I use both? Family and love. And I kept the hearts on there. I'll include that. That can be my title, or at least part of my title. And then I had these, which are colorful. So lots of similar colors. So I pulled those out because maybe I can incorporate that, make a longer title, or just add some additional words as accents. I really like the wood tags that are in, or the wood clouds, sorry, that are in that package. So hopefully I'll have the opportunity to use those. Okay, so here, that green pattern paper is from the kit that's in here. So there are a couple elements in that sticker sheet that will work with this layout. So I decided to include that sticker sheet in with this kit. So I'm having a look at these words. I'm really, really shooting to finish this white sheet. So I kept the word major and the arrow. I think I was thinking something like Major Cuteness or something along those lines is my title. Okay, so once all your kits are together and separated, so I've got these big 12 by 12 Ziploc envelopes that I use. These, when Stampin' Up! Sold 12 by 12 page protectors and pocket pages, I always used to keep these bags because they're perfect for putting together kits. But you can also get some really large Ziploc bags as well. So once those are all organized, then just remember that you don't necessarily have to put all of your embellishments and everything in together, because all of these leftover pieces that I have here, I'll keep all of this stuff, as well as any extra embellishments and this bin. All of this will be kept together, and I'll pull it all out when I go to work on it. Okay, so just because these pieces didn't end up into one of these packages doesn't mean I won't use them, especially things like sticker sheets. Because when you go to embellish, you can have a look and see if there's something that might work. And then you'll also notice that in this one, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff, and that's okay as well, because remember, you can pull in cardstock and use your embossing folders and use your stamps. So it doesn't need to be a very full kit in order to be able to complete your layout, because we still have so much more that we can pull from, especially as stampers. Okay, so the next step after your kits are created, what I like to do is I have this sketchbook where I've kind of jotted down some different sketches that I've come across that I've liked. So I'll just kind of sketch them out. Sometimes I add little notes where I want to use them, or how I want to create a background, or if I've got some specific photos in mind. So I've got this, and then I've also got layouts that I've saved on Pinterest and also on Instagram that I can go back and refer to. So I'll look at the number of photos that I have in each page kit, and then I will jot down some ideas. So for example, this one is just a single 4x6 photo. So I will pull this out, just a notepad, and I really liked this sketch. I think this will work really well with this layout or with this photo. So I'll draw it out. And then my photo, and just indicate that it's matted, and I might mat it more than just once. We've got some little embellishments here, so a little embellishment cluster, and then we've got a larger piece, and then title here.
So here I've got that this is DSP. So you can make these notifications, or you can just leave it open to your interpretation. And then background sponged and splattered. If you've got title ideas, or if you want to add your journaling, you can do that all on here so that it's all handy when you're ready to go ahead and put your layouts together. The more time you spend prepping, the less time you'll spend scrapping, like putting it together. So the more thought that you put into the process of putting things together, the quicker and easier it will be when you go to put your layouts together. So I will tuck that in there, and I think this is going to be perfect because if you look, I've got a single 4x4 or 4x6 photo. You could also make this larger if you had maybe 2 vertical 4x6 photos. I've got this background piece, which I think will be perfect. And then this for this layer here, and then these for matting my photo. And then my title will probably be a combination of things. And then I've got some bits to tuck in. I'll probably add some stamped images, some splattering in the background, maybe some ink blending. So that's the kind of prep work that I do. I'll just tuck that in there. And then when I'm ready to go ahead and film this video, then I just pull this out, any additional supplies I might need, and I get to work. All right. So I hope that you guys found that helpful. Remember to check out the Scrap Your Stash 4th session in the link in the description below. I'd love to have you join us. We start March 31st. And but obviously the sooner that you register, the sooner you'll get added to the Facebook group, where I'll be sharing a few things as I go through and prep for the class as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.